Welcome to Curiosity Unleashed with one of our newest Wisdom Seeker Society members, Nicole. Welcome and thank you for joining me today. How are you in sunny, I hope, Johannesburg?
Well, very sunny Johannesburg. Hi, Michelle. Lovely to be here. Super excited to join your community. I have been absolutely overwhelmed with the number of value adds that you connecting us with on a weekly basis. So much so that I'm like battling to keep up with everything, but it's very exciting and super to be
And
here. So
that's
thanks so
always
much.
something. Yes, thank you. Thank you
Yes,
so
as a
much.
newbie,
You're doing amazing.
yeah. Oh, thanks, man. Yeah, as a newbie, I think it takes a while to like settle in and get with the flow and all the rest of it. And also, I find at the beginning of the new year, everyone comes in guns blazing, wanting to start off on a high note and mail shots about this, that, and the next thing. Sometimes because it's a new year, maybe we should like learn to ease into it a little bit better. I don't know, but we all get excited and we amp to do stuff. That we all go guns blazing. But anyway, it's very exciting, and thanks so much.
You're most welcome. It is, it's a little bit of a different thing coming from, I'm obviously also from the Southern Hemisphere, but now living in the Northern Hemisphere, this is such a dark and cold and different aspect to life, which is, this wintering this year for me especially has just been overwhelming. Like it just wanna be in the dark and kind of let those seeds slowly
Hibernate.
kind of open up. Yes, yes. But I
I
see
know,
it's
and we've
also,
got yeah,
it's very
we've also
overwhelming.
it is, sorry, man. Yes, we've had an unusual summer, to be honest with you. It started off much earlier than we anticipated. It's almost like we missed spring and went straight into 30-degree, 32-degree Celsius temperatures, only then to be met with so much rain that the entire December, Christmas, etc., it was raining. But now we seem to be back and it's very humid, which is so unusual. I mean, global warming is definitely a reality and nothing is the norm. If
Yeah.
that. So we're having the sunshine and you come to meetings and everyone's got their scarves and jackets and whatever, and you're sitting hyperventilating, and it doesn't help to be menopausal either. So yeah.
Well, exactly. And I like that you say there is, well, the norm, I don't know, there is no norm for me specifically, but I
Exactly.
think, yeah, the weather and the world and everybody's finally catching up to this. There is no norm kind of concept, which is good.
So true.
Yeah. So, but now we are chatting to you also, or I'm chatting to you today also about kind of in the Wisdom Seekers, we have a season. Our first season is kind of the foundation of self, and our second theme in this season is connection. And I just had
Wow.
to invite you to chat about, this concept of connection because I think it's something that really lights you up as well.
Oh no,
Um,
it does. Oh, it
yeah.
does, Mish. Thanks so much.
Mm,
Yeah, I think everything is about connection for me. And
yeah.
more importantly, connection and collaboration.
Mm,
Looking at, finding the right tribe,
mm,
associating yourself with people who are in a position to, bring out the best in you, whatever it is that you're doing. Um, and it's such an interesting one and an interesting dynamic. So we actually started a community. So I'm going to dive right in here called Trailblazing
yes.
Women in Business. So I come from a FMCG. I've had so many different careers. Started off in the liquor industry. I've been in the building industry. I've done HR, etc. And I've landed in marketing through FMCG liquor industry. And
Nice.
one of the fundamental learnings that I found as a female, especially in male-dominated environments and industries, often there was a lot of competition between women about progression, success, etc., and obviously nurturing your staff as you progress through the ranks within organizations, etc. And I found that a lot of women were kind of anti one another, if I can say, like I might not be choosing the right words, but not advocating for each other, which I found really sad, to be honest with you. It's almost like there's this competitiveness. You're all
Mm,
working for the same company and the same organization. Why aren't we able to collaborate together and, empower each other to step up and whatnot? And then I looked at myself and I was like, wow, I've been truly blessed. And I've really surrounded myself with an amazing array of females who advocate for me on a daily basis. I mean, look at your Wisdom Seeker Society as a prime example of that. Bringing people together who've got like-minded approaches, who want to learn and grow and evolve. So if I was lucky enough to have access to that, why can't other people have access to it as well? I mean, Diana Grant, I mean, she's an incredible woman. She does amazing things. We're on so many journeys through life, etc. And I was lucky enough to be able to have these people advocating for me. So I thought, wow, why do and you have conversations in meetings and people are like, oh, you're so positive, you're so motivational, etc. Why can't I have that? And then I thought, why can't we share our skill bases, our insights, what we're doing within our own companies, whether we work for corporates, whether we're independents, etc. Let's collectively come together as women and work together to grow our base and our network. I mean, we're as strong as the women that hold us up. And if you look at Trailblazing Women in Business, the actual logo itself, it's indicative of what we stand for and what we represent. It's a visual of a female with her hand extended, with a child standing on the palm of her hand. She's got roots as the core and trunk of her body, which obviously for us are indicative of if you've got a great support structure as a base, no matter what adversities you face with or what turbulences there are in the world, they're strong enough to hold you and guide you and support you through all of them. And then obviously with the heart as act from a place of love. If you find that you communicate and act from a place of love, you feel that your responses are quite different and who you're connecting with, etc. And looking at infinite opportunities, because there's the infinity symbol in there as well, infinite opportunities. And then obviously the femininity of the woman. We going through these stages where I find we're either going to be too strong or you always get that, oh my God, you're so aggressive kind of vibe and whatever. And try to find the balance. So we started this community. We launched it in South Africa. It is a global initiative that we want to roll out everywhere. Diana Grant heads up the UK office, etc., and what we plan on doing there. And the objective is it's a networking community, but not networking just in meet a group of people and carry on. So what we want to do, we want to touch on very informative subjects and, inform and educate women in business about options available to them. If you in a particular environment or you're starting out, for argument's sake, you don't have a designer, who do you go to? What reference is there? So we create this database of expertise who are absolute experts within their respective field, etc. And you have the opportunity to then connect with them. If you're in work, you've been offered a new position, you've been given a contract, you don't want to chat to your HR department, you want legal advice, there's a legal advisor in there. So let's support one another and in the same process, uplift and empower one another while being around incredible women that obviously promote each other. I mean, I'll give an example. So we launched in Johannesburg. We had 100 women in attendance at the event, after which we did our Cape Town launch, which was absolutely incredible. We had 50 women in attendance in Cape Town. And one woman that I worked with years ago in the IT industry, she saw that we were hosting an event on my social pages, etc., and reached out and said, oh, I'd love to attend. She had recently lost a job and, was going through a tumultuous time in business, thinking like, why have I not been exposed to this? She said, I just felt this was a calling, this invite, the location, everything just panned out. So she booked herself a ticket. And literally after the event, first of all, she got exposed to people in the environment who were like, oh my goodness me, I could potentially have a job opportunity for you. Let's have a look and collaborate and see what's going on. She's now employed.
Amazing. Yeah.
And just looking for those small instances when you can make a difference in somebody's life. I mean, I love motivating people and I love progressing people and looking for opportunities of growth, etc. That's what collaboration is about for me.
Yeah.
saying, okay, what can we do together to maximize our efficiencies and offer items or elements or services, etc., that take us to the next level.
Yeah.
Um, so that is one of my fundamental focuses at the moment, growing Trailblazing Women in Business, looking for opportunities. We've actually had a massive outreach from a lot of women,
Mm.
especially based in the UK,
Mm.
saying this is an incredible initiative. How do we become part of it, etc. So we have obviously got the website. We're on Instagram, on social media, on Facebook as well. You sign up, you obtain an annual membership. Those who are part of the inaugural launches, they became members for an annual duration.
Mm-hmm.
It's a minimal charge. It's purely from an administrative perspective, but then obviously you get access to that database and those individuals. And then what we do is host smaller events throughout the year that talk on subjects that are of relevance and matter. So we obtain feedback and research through the people that we interact with. And I mean, one of the fundamental questions as part of a networking event that came out from our first event was, how do we actually network? How do
Oh,
you arrive in an environment and how do you network? I
yeah.
mean, Mish, you know that yourself, even through your communities and things,
Yeah.
giving people the aptitude to be able to network, to be able to advocate for themselves, to communicate effectively, having difficult conversations. I mean, the opportunities are
Mm-hmm.
absolutely endless. We've also got a couple of amazing training programs on our website, etc.
Mm.
And it's all for the greater purpose of supporting women in business and watching them grow. I mean, I'm a mom of 3 girls, and
Yeah.
I always say, I want to leave a legacy behind. I want my children to know that when they start out in business, they've got support, they've got access to knowledge, skills, etc., that for some reason we don't want to share with each other. So it's almost like we're reinventing the wheel every time we start. How do we pass that knowledge on and uplift each other?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I was going to ask you kind of why women, but I think it's a useless question, really. You just answered it in a way. And I want to add that I've seen this a lot, and I think that's why a lot of women shy away from business because, you
Mm.
know, business, the masculinity is rewarded.
Yes.
And yet, as women in business, we have that little bit of an extra or another side to it where we have that nurturing. So instead of suppressing it and
Mm.
instead of, there's so many unhappy women working
Yes.
in corporate jobs, crying through their lunch breaks because they
Mhm.
have to pretend to be something that they're not. So I think it's amazing what you're doing, obviously. And I just want to
Mm.
tell Diana, thank you very much. I've also got Diana on
Good.
here. She's your contact person in the UK.
Mhm.
And yeah, it's just we talk about these things a lot. We talk
Mm.
about the disconnect, the toxic masculinity that we face in all these places, but it's not often that we get to do something about it. So I
Yeah.
do salute you. Well done.
Thanks so much. I absolutely agree. And you know what it is? Like you've got the extremes in business now where it's all women and there's absolutely no men allowed, etc.
Yeah,
We're trying to strike the balance, and you'll be surprised. Our biggest, or at least our most interesting speakers on the day were actually men. So
yeah.
men are part of the process. It doesn't mean men can't attend and all the rest of it.
Mm,
But what we're trying to say is each one of us have a role to play between masculinity and femininity within a workplace.
yeah,
How do we work together to get to a place where there's mutual respect, mutual opportunity, and
mm,
women remaining within their feminine without having to, be something you're not?
mm,
Exactly what you're saying.
mm,
A lot of the dynamic of a woman is completely different, especially considering a lot of us are mothers. And you
yeah,
say, well, how do I become this, you know, blue chip executive where I'm in a position where I'm a mom and my kids are calling me or I need something,
yeah,
etc. How do I strike the balance and make sure that I remain balanced within my family, work, life, wife, children scenario, which makes it very difficult. But I also think when we start understanding who we are and what value we bring to the table, I think that changes the dynamic within the conversations that we're having. So we don't have to be at work till 10 o'clock at night to prove a point to anybody. If we're working smart, we have a fantastic support structure, and we empowering and uplifting our teams and our team members, it changes the dynamic. You know, a lot of women hang on to the information. They don't want to share. They don't want to ask other people to do stuff because they want to be seen to, know it all, giving all the answers there, visible, interacting, etc. Empower other people. That's what we're there to do and support.
Well,
Yes.
exactly, and there's that connection, firstly to self, because
Mm.
not all women are the same, not all men are the same, not but there is elements to each of us where we need to find that balance. Men have feminine sides too, and
Absolutely.
women have masculine sides, but we need to find a balance where I can see you and embrace you as a part of my connection, or my network, or whatever we want to call it. But yeah, it is important for us to be interconnected like that, I
It
think.
is. And
Yeah,
it's these connections that make such a difference.
yeah.
You go to all these events and you listen to speakers and you're like, wow, that's so inspiring. But I
Mm,
say it's not just about that. There's so much more to it. You want to know that you've got somebody to back you up, somebody to
yeah,
guide you, somebody to have a conversation with. Not everybody has access to that. And we see that in multiple group settings and conversations, etc., where people feel lost or alone or don't want to seem to. I don't have all the answers. I most certainly don't.
yeah,
But I'll by hook or by crook, I'll make sure I find a way to find a solution or know somebody who knows somebody who knows somebody.
yeah,
And that's what it's about. Collaborating with other women, working with people who are experts in their industry, and allowing them to uplift one another, which I think is incredible.
yeah.
It's a really great opportunity for women to flourish and grow, and also find their self-worth through those connections with themselves as well.
Exactly. Because
Mm.
there is a little boost of oxytocin coming through every time you can see, someone getting that job or finding
Yeah.
that legal answer or whatever it is that is missing. And I think it boosts the zeitgeist or the collective unconscious every
Yes.
time we do something like that. And those are the things that more and more, as we were talking last night in the astrology kind of overview, more and
Mm.
more we're moving towards this us instead of
Yes.
individual
Mhm.
power. The people are and need to stand together, and I know, coming from South Africa, this is a quite a South African thing.
Mm.
We've learned through experience as to how division, in any on any basis, can really harm us as individuals, as humans.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I know, and as a culture, as South Africans, I think we're not. So my husband's actually West African, and the biggest learning for me as an individual is to say, why as South Africans we don't want to support one another. It's the most unusual concept. In so many cultures,
Mm,
they band together, they support each other. So for
mm,
example, if one of my family members has an expertise or spirit, I'm not going to recommend them. Why
yeah.
would I not do that? It makes no sense whatsoever. And it's our
No.
upbringing, it's the way we've been taught. And we don't like to rely on each other for things, which is so unusual. So
Mm,
it is a major step change. And I think that underlying in me and being in organizations, especially within our cultural equivities within our country, we've got so many cultural nuances that denote, a woman should be subservient, they should be respectful towards men, etc., etc.
yeah.
Respect is a two-way street, irrespective of who you are,
Mm,
and giving the woman the courage to stand up for themselves because they come from a background or history or cultural um, elements that have been laid out to say, right, this is how you need to act, this is how you
mm,
need to interact.
yeah.
You don't talk unless I ask you for your opinion, things like that. Very,
Yeah.
very, very archaic sort of
Yeah.
sentiments, but yet so integral and affecting people in business. So
Yeah.
through yes,
Yeah.
yes. So through the conversations, we can create these opportunities to say, actually, this is allowed. We're in a different environment now. We're not back in the 60s, 70s, 80s, or whatever.
Yeah.
We're living in an environment where technology is taking over. We've got access to so much information. How do we make sure that we're leveraging the best of our ability
without that overwhelm? So it's always an interesting way to strike the balance, and I love that you bring up the that inequality, I suppose, that comes with I suppose gender roles, if we're going to put it that way, where I feel that we're moving into this space where the divine feminine needs to embrace this masculine, as to say, we support you and you support us, and we need each other to kind of do this dance together, because this
Yes.
fighting and fighting each other and creating boxes. I have a thing about boxes; they don't work.
No, those are very old school.
Yeah, they're no boxes. And as I say, not all women are the same. Not all South Africans are the same. Not all British people
Exactly.
are the same. And it's time for us to do this trailblazing, and to breaking those um, stereotypical kind of views down and say, let's get together, because I think that's part of the problem in the workplace with women, especially because they feel that they're not supposed to be there. They're supposed to be in a different place, so they have to take on a role that's not necessarily them.
100%. I mean, I've been there so
Mm,
many times within business environments, and through my learnings, I'm like, I need to share this with people,
yeah,
and be able to impart my wisdom. I don't, as I said, I don't say I have all the answers, but I certainly have experience, and that in itself is testament to however many degrees or qualifications you may or may not have.
yeah,
The real life. Let's not even get talking about education at the moment, because that's another area of focus for Nicole. But yes, it's absolutely integral,
yeah,
and things like that are so pertinent. Um, and with that, we do so many different things. So we pull in people that have got interesting conversations,
mm,
interesting exercises, talks,
mm,
training, like, whetting women's appetite to say, oh, this is what's available out there. Because I certainly don't always know.
yeah,
And you go somewhere and you're like, oh, I feel so stupid. I didn't know that was available, etc. You know, and
exactly.
those and looking at what is out there and what we can do that,
Mm.
that adds value on a daily basis.
Yeah. And I have this because I love that concept, and I love, I try and bring that into the wisdom seekers as well, as to sharing other people's wisdom, because none of us have all the answers. We're not supposed to have all the answers. So we constantly in this place of curiosity, of seeing things differently. Like when, we react differently to different voices. Some voices just go like, familiar. There's a
Yes.
familiarity and it kind of just goes right through, where others don't. So we need to
Mhm.
try all of these things out, and it's fun, and it's kind of broadens everything quite a lot, which is
Oh,
lovely. Yeah.
it absolutely does. And you're doing an incredible job. The community is amazing. And I love the diversity of what it is that you're offering.
Mm,
I also come from quite a spiritual background.
mm.
I don't know if you know, Diana and I also published a series of journals
Oh
that
no.
are available online on Amazon. So there's 12 different journals that open a journaling process for individuals, focusing on the different aspects of love, like freedom in love. What does love mean to you? And through the process, there's these 12 journals. I'll send you links, etc.
Yes, please.
Um, and those talk to what it is that we're talking about. When
Mm,
when you're a mom and you're in business, as I say, it's very competitive, but
yeah.
yet the dynamic of business changes when you act from a place of love and you're able to have those conversations. But you can't expect others to love you unless you wholly love yourself and
Mm,
accept yourself as you are.
yeah.
So we're looking at pulling all these amazing elements in that talk to the overall picture, that shape
Mm,
and form what it is that we're focusing on. how these add value in your daily life, etc.
Yeah.
So we created these 12 journals. It was actually based on Di's one of her workshops that I did years ago that
Yeah.
was absolutely life-changing.
Mm.
And we literally recreated the series of journals that you basically get access to. You can either do it over a 12-week period, a 12-month period, because there's 12 within the series, and
Yeah.
they work through the different layers and levels of love that we focus on, because we think, oh, love, what is love? Oh, that's to love somebody. Is
Mm.
it really?
Yeah.
So there's prompts, there's various different elements inside the series of journals that are very thought provoking. They start unpeeling all those layers of the onion.
Yeah.
So you get down to the core of things.
Amazing. Please send me that link and I'll pop it in
I
in
will.
the description of the video as well. And we're back to Diana, because Diana is the love revolutionary. She's also
Oh,
one of the
absolutely. Yeah.
founding members of the Wisdom Seekers, and we do a little bit of a something with her usually in August in our month of self love. So
Oh,
stay
divine.
tuned, and we will have to promote these journals as well. Um,
Divine.
yeah, I love what you do. Thank you so much for
It's
spending
such
some
a
time.
pleasure, and it's so nice to be
Yeah,
here and have the opportunity to chat, and obviously look forward to getting to know everybody and
yeah,
collaborating, looking at opportunities where we can share together,
yeah.
and definitely we'll stay in touch. And when we host our UK event, etc., we'd love to have you all there.
Oh, that would be lovely. And as you say, it's not just women, is it?
No,
It's
no.
to support women, I suppose, in this journey, which is a trailblazing one. Yeah,
Absolutely. We should all be trailblazers in our own right, as I believe,
definitely. Yeah,
and, keep shining in what it is that you're doing.
yeah,
Funnily enough, one of our male speakers actually said he would only ever employ females purely from the dynamic that they bring from a
yeah,
feminine, well organized, multitasking perspective. So,
yeah,
so no offense to the gents out there, not saying nobody's like that. But the feedback's incredible. And I think that's what opens the eyes to the various different topics of conversation.
yeah,
And saying from a male's perspective, what are your thoughts on these subjects? How can you add value and how can we add value? And also making sure that like one of the areas that he spoke about was saying, when's the last time you actually asked your husband how he is, like
mm,
how he truly is? So is he the breadwinner of the household? Must he just go and earn money and come home and not talk about his day, etc., and listen to all the complaints of the family, and this isn't
yeah,
right and that's not right and I have to do this? When last did we do a check-in, especially when we're talking about overall health and wellness? I
mm,
mean, the majority of people that are suffering with mental health issues at the moment is absolutely phenomenal. At the pace that we're working, if we don't start sharing the responsibility and collaborating with others, stop forcing ourselves to do everything ourselves. Let experts do what they do best. You focus on your strategic initiatives or whatever it is that you're focusing on specifically, and allow other people to come to the party and do what they do best.
yeah,
Everyone's like, oh, tell me how to do that, and I'll,
mm,
gather all the information and do it myself. Why do it yourself?
yeah,
Share the love, as I
yeah.
say.
And there's so much there, because you've just
Mm,
kind of triggered me into a lot of deeper conversation around, the connection, because
mm,
we
mm.
disconnect, and maybe there's roles once again, so the man is the breadwinner or the woman looks after the children, but there's a lack of connection between these partners that chose
Mhm,
to spend their lives together. I
mhm.
have this guilty pleasure, not a pleasure really, like reading the comments on some of these Facebook groups, and I just, it feels so sad. It's like, oh, but he didn't listen, or he did this thing, and it's all control, and there's so
Yes,
little connection as to how are you?
yes,
I see you as a human.
100%.
Mm,
Yes, that's the thing. Do you see them? What are you offering? So, like we get, especially as women, we get trapped in the stigma of expectation. We're creating the expectation. We only have ourselves to blame, you
yeah,
know? I can say to my husband, oh, but you didn't help me do this, you didn't help me do that. He said, you never asked me to help you. You know,
Yeah.
did you ever ask me to? Why
Yeah.
did you think that I couldn't? Or you do it so well, you take over because you're so in control, you know? It has to be done this way, and that's the only way. So you're only setting yourself up for failure, you know?
Yeah, exactly. That's why I just burn the food a lot, and now my husband cooks every night.
Maybe I should try that,
It
eh?
works. Yeah.
Oh dear.
Nicole, I think we should have another conversation soon.
100%. We've got lots to talk about. Absolutely.
Exactly. To find Trailblazing Women in Business, website is there at the bottom, trailblazingwib.com. And
Perfect.
on Instagram, it's trailblazing_women_in_business. So do follow
Fabulous.
Nicole, or the community. It's not just Nicole, and I think that's quite a
Mm.
cool thing. And yeah,
Thank you
follow
so
up.
much, Mish.
You're
And
welcome.
absolutely follow Wisdom Seeker Society too. I'm
Exactly.
introducing people as we go along. It's so
Oh,
exciting.
brilliant, brilliant. And we're very honored. I'm very honored to have you as part of the tribe.
Oh, thank you so
So
much.
too many months to come. Thank you.
Absolutely. Have a wonderful day further, Mish.
Thank you. You too.
Take care.